Hey, I think we're live. Good stuff. I know in the last stream we had a doubling issue where the sound was echoing a bit, so I just want to make sure that that's not happening. So give me a second, friends, neighbors. By the way, my name is Luke. I'm an American English teacher, and this is a live class. I'm at home in my studio, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of things, but I'll be answering questions and sharing some things. I have a video to share with you guys, which I think is interesting. By the way, make sure you hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Much appreciated. Also, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button so that you can see future videos, future live streams. And I have a link, or several links, in the description under this. One of them is the WhatsApp group. So you can check that out. You can join the conversation. I don't know if I'm a leader there. I'm kind of just in the group, just one of the guys or gals, gals. And I'm not a gal. I'm a guy. But I mean, there are gals too, is what I'm trying to say. The other links are courses, so you can check out my full courses if you're interested in that. So anyway, we're going to just wait for some people to come in. I'm going to share Casey Masters here with coffee. I've got coffee too. That's what really matters, right? I mean, coffee is the only thing that really matters. I may be at home and unable to go outside, but as long as I have coffee. I wish I could show you guys, but I have 3. So maybe Casey Master can say, but I have 3 giant boxes of K-Cups. How many of you guys use K-Cups? K-Cups is a Keurig machine, and it's little cups, and you make cups of coffee with that. I use K-Cups, and so I have 3 gigantic boxes in my house because I don't know if they're going to go out of stock or what. So, is it dark? Why is it too dark there? Is it dark? It's normal, right? I mean, my light's a little different, but it's not. You can see me, right? You can see me, right? I hope. Okay, let me just share the link to this around before we get started with the questions. Ali here. Welcome. Hello. Good to see you. Paul is here. My cat Doorbell is here. Hey, Doorbell. Hey, Doorbell. This Doorbell is taking a nap back there. She looks cute, but actually she's kind of a bad cat. I mean, not a bad cat. You're a nice cat, Doorbell. I like you. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Let me just make sure the sound is all good to go because I don't want to screw it up. Oh yeah. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to send this around. What happened? Was it your fault, Paul? Was it you? Watching from Saudi Arabia, Lynn. Cool. Lolly Lolly, hello from France. Lolly Lolly is our resident general artificial intelligence. Maybe a person, maybe a very, very intelligent bot. I'm still undecided on that one. She seems sleepy. Who seems sleepy? Oh, well, cats are cats. They always sleep, you know. From Tanzania, East Africa. That's a place I'd like to go one day. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to pop this into the WhatsApp chat. Depending on how things go, we might do another Skype thing, try to do another Skype thing. And it might be a disaster, but disasters are fun too. We'll see. And I do have an interesting video to share with you guys. So, okay. We are live now. This is what I'm typing. If you guys haven't joined the WhatsApp group, you're welcome to. We now have, at this moment, we have 49 members. Once we hit 50 members, I have a goal. My goal is to do a watch party. A watch party is when everybody watches a movie. We don't have to watch it all at exactly the same time, but we all watch a movie, maybe that day, and then the next day we talk about it. We have some discussion questions. Everyone shares their opinions. So we need one more member, and we can do the watch party. We can vote on which movie we're going to do. I think that would be super fun. So join the WhatsApp group, and Let me just now share this to Facebook, and then we're going to get started. Questions, guys, please ask your questions. If you have English questions of any kind, grammar, pronunciation, whatever it may be, I'm here to help. Culture, staying inside, working at home. Last time we talked about getting a job. We talked about, I answered some personal questions. I shared the story of how I met my wife, my first wife. And also, my first wife is also my current wife. I only have one. But it's strange to put it in that way. I shouldn't say it like that. I shouldn't do that. It's not good. All right. It is now shared. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Today is Tuesday afternoon, and it is March 24th, and I have now been at home, having barely left my house for now 4 or 5 days. 4 or 5 days. It's been that long, and it's kind of weird. The things that I've noticed. All right, here's what I've noticed, and I would love for you guys to share your experiences too. Number one, I'm used to going on walks, right? I for a while I was walking in the cemetery at least. Now I'm not doing that either. I'm used to going on walks where I can feel like I've exercised a bit. I can, burn some calories. I can feel like I'm using my legs. It's nice, right? It's good. Now I feel like a blob. I feel like a lazy blob. I feel like I can't move, and so I'm looking at some home exercise equipment. So if you guys have any suggestions about home exercise equipment, I'm all ears. I have a 2-bedroom apartment in New York, so it's not a huge house. I live in an apartment. So it's got that's sort of the requirement. So if you guys have any ideas, any suggestions. One thing I ordered was this set of bands, exercise bands. I think they're called resistance bands, and you hook them up to the door and you pull them and you use that to exercise. So hopefully that's something. I would like to get an exercise bike, but the problem is I don't have room for that, I think, in my house. I don't think I have room for an exercise bike. It would be cool, but no space. Lolly, that's a good question. Yeah, going for a walk is good, but guys, I'm in New York. I can't go outside. Unless I'm going to the supermarket, you're not supposed to go outside. I have to stay indoors all the time right now, which kind of sucks, but it's the smart thing to do. It's what you got to do. You got to do it. All right, so let's answer Lolly's question, and then I do have, I think, a very interesting video to show you guys, and I want to see what you think about it. Okay. So Lolly says, I'm going to pop your question up here. Lolly's question. What's the difference, Lolly says, between loads of and lots of? Please, Luke. It's a good question. Now, basically, these two are the same thing. We call this a quantifier. And these are used in the same way. Now, there is a slight difference here because the word load by itself is a noun, but it's used as a quantifier here, okay? Lots of is a quantifier. It tells us the amount of some noun. It's called a quantifier, okay? Now, is there any difference in the meaning at all between these two if I say loads of and lots of? Well, I would say that lots of is used much more often than loads of, and loads of has a sort of informal feeling to it, sort of an informal, casual connotation. But the interesting thing about lots of and loads of is that it can be used either for countable nouns or uncountable nouns. Now, some quantifiers can't be used for both. For example, if you say a few, that means not many, right? That can only be used for countable nouns. You could say a few bananas, you can say a few days, you can say a few ideas, but you cannot say a few hope. What does that mean, a few hope? What does that mean? So if you're using hope in the uncountable form, then you cannot use a few, because a few is only used for countable nouns. A few is used for countable nouns. I almost said uncountable. All right. Now, some things are only used for uncountable nouns. Okay? Uncountable nouns, like hope, for example. We would say maybe a bit of. A bit of. For a bit of, that's an uncountable thing. We would say a bit of hope, but we wouldn't say a bit of cups. A bit of cups, because cups is a countable thing, right? So you have to pay attention to what's countable, what's not countable, and which quantifier goes with countable nouns, like cups, cows, camels, and uncountable nouns, like money and hope and rice and coconut milk. Okay. But the interesting thing about a few of these is that they can be used with both. One example is some, because you can say some camels, but you can say also some coconut milk. Some hope. A lot of coconut milk. A lot of hope. A lot of camels is okay too. You can't say many hope. You can say many camels. So many, no, it doesn't work. But a lot, yes. Loads of works. Loads of camels walking around. Now, that's a weird thing to say. That sounds weird to me, but it is correct. It's correct, right? Oh, we bought loads of cups for the party. Loads of plastic cups for the party. Fine. Loads of time. We have loads of time. Don't worry, we have loads of time. So they have basically the same meaning. They're used in basically the same way to mean many, but for either countable or uncountable things. And the difference really is in the feeling that they create. Lots of is much more common. Loads of is less common, feels more casual, feels more relaxed. So hopefully that answers your question. Guys, if you're just coming in, make sure you hit like, subscribe, check out the courses and the links in the description, and why not join the WhatsApp group? Join. We have conversations in there. It's cool. It's interesting. Welcome. Join us. All right. Hopefully that answers your question. Lolly. Dinesh says, hello, Luke, did you join, or hello, Lolly, did you join Luke's WhatsApp group? Gotta join it. A lot of and lots of. Yeah, lots of and a lot of are the same thing, Dinesh. Same thing. Thanks for passing the link. Oh, thanks, Dinesh. Thanks very much. Yeah, a bunch of camels. Yeah, that's okay. You could say that. A bunch is sometimes used for both. It's more common, I think, to use a bunch for countable nouns. We would say a bunch of camels, a bunch of cups. It wouldn't be as common to say a bunch. Excuse me. So sorry. Give my chair over there. Coronavirus. It wouldn't be common to say a bunch of hope. That sounds weird. So typically, a bunch is used to talk about countable nouns. But it can be used to talk about uncountable nouns by some people in some situations. I'm just not going to recommend it or suggest it because it's not as common. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question. Are you guys clear on countable versus uncountable nouns? It's very important. Very important to understand the difference. Grammar. Bless yoy. Bless yoy. Bless yoy too, Lolly. I'm compiling a list of... Oh, I like yoy better. I'm compiling a list of resources of free teacher digital office hours for my community that contains many kids who are confused about teaching assistants. Hey, that's a wonderful thing to do. That is very cool. Will you be offering this stream more in the future so that I can add this as a resource? Yes, I will be doing this stream in the future, Meg. But the thing is, so feel free to add this as a resource because this is not something I only do once. I do these streams pretty regularly. I try to do them on Sundays. During this weird time, I'm doing them more throughout the week. But I want to say I can't commit certainly, absolutely 100% to a specific time, because sometimes things come up and I have to push it back. So put me down as a resource, absolutely. But maybe hold off putting me down as a resource at a specific time, if that's possible. I am notoriously unreliable when it comes to being on time for live streams. And technique and techniques. I'm not familiar with the word techniques. That must be a new word. Technique, I know. Technique means a method or a way of doing something. How you do it? A technic. T-E-C-H-N-I-C. Let me search it. T-E-C-H-N-I-C-S. What does it mean? Not turning it up on Google. Let's go to dictionary.com. I'm typing on my computer here. This is boring, I know. T-E-C-H-N-I-C-S. New word. Can I learn a new word? Is it possible? I'm always willing to learn a new word. What the heck? Why does it keep... why is my browser so slow? Dictionary.com is being very slow. All right. Kill Dictionary. Kill this. Kill Safari. Open Chrome. All right. Open Chrome. I'm just commentating this because it's so boring. And then he opened Google Chrome and he typed in dictionary.com and then he searched the word technics, T-E-C-H-N-I-C-S, and then he hit enter. Technics. The study of or science of an art or of arts in general, especially the mechanical or industrial arts. Okay. New word. Well, I would say it's not that common. I don't know it, so that must mean it's not too common. If it were very common, I'd probably know it. I've been speaking English for approximately 30 years. Lazy Kid says, my English is very bad. That's quite sad. Sorry to hear it. What does get alone mean? Dominican boy, cool name. I wonder if you mean either get along or get alone. 3 words. Not get alone, but get alone or get along. So which one do you mean? If you mean get along, here, I'll pop up the question. What does get alone mean? So I think this is an interesting example, Dominican boy. What does get alone mean? It's an interesting question. It's an interesting example because it's something that I'm guessing comes from listening. Maybe you heard that in a movie or on TV or something, and you thought, what are they saying there? And you're making sense out of it. You're saying, okay, how do I put this into several words and try to understand what it means, right? Which is great. You're working on your listening. That's fantastic. It's a great exercise to watch videos and watch movies without subtitles to try to hone or sharpen your ability to listen, right? But then we have to sort of look at what it means. So the first step is to try to write it down. But don't only write down one thing, write down possibilities. One possibility, get alone, G-E-T-A-L-O-N-E. Next possibility, get alone, G-E-T space A space L-O-A-N. Okay? Third possibility, get along, G-E-T-A-L-O-N-G, along. You hear that sound there. Okay, so then what you do is you search each one. What you'll quickly find is when you search get alone, A-L-O-N-E, you'll find that there isn't a meaning for get alone. It doesn't mean anything. So, okay, cross it out. It can't be that because that doesn't have a meaning. Now, you look at the other two. You research the other two. I recommend using the free dictionary because the free dictionary has definitions of idioms and phrases. So you can search both get along and get alone. Maybe. They might not have that one. But you can at least search the word loan, right? L-O-A-N. So you search those two and you figure out the meaning of each one, and then you go back to the place where you heard it, back to the video where you saw it, and you say, all right, I know what this means now. I know what both of these mean. Let me see which one makes sense in the conversation. This is the whole process of learning by listening. And this is a very, very good way, a very, very good strategy for developing your listening skill, figuring out what things mean in context, in the right situation, and having a better understanding for real English, real used English in real situations, right? A lot of the time, people just learn lists, then they have no idea how to use anything that they learn, and it drives me crazy. All right, you know 10,000 things, but you can't use it because you don't know how to use it, because you don't know the context. Almost useless. Almost useless, okay? So, get a loan means to ask to borrow money. Maybe you're a small business owner, and you go to the bank, and you have a proposal. This is what I want to do. This is how much I want to pay back. Well, they'll tell you how much they want you to pay back. They'll say, here's the interest rate. You sign something, and they give you a loan for $100,000. You start your small business. All right. Getting a loan. Now, you might get a loan from a family member. That's okay, too, right? I would make my family member do the same thing. I did this to my brother when we were little. I made him sign a contract. There was an interest rate. I'm a terrible brother, famously. Anyway, that's one meaning. The other meaning of get along means to get on well with someone, to have a good relationship with someone. There's no tension. There's no anger. You just feel good with this person, right? You don't fight with each other. You don't disagree that much. When you're around each other, maybe 2 people or 3 people or 4 people, you enjoy yourself. Each person enjoys themselves. That's what get along means. Now, you have both meanings. Go back to the source. Watch that part again. It's either going to be get alone, or get along, and it will be obvious by that time because those are 2 very different things. You should be able to figure it out from the context. All right, so that's the process. If you use that process when you're watching videos online or watching movies, you will absolutely improve your listening and your knowledge of words and phrases. Okay. I don't even know if that's your question, but I hope so. Is that your question, Dominican boy? Did I answer your question, or did I answer the absolutely wrong question? Even if it's not right, I think it's still worth talking about. I don't easily get along with new people. Azad, that's correct. That's a good example. I don't easily get along with new people. Unfriendly, yeah. I watch movies or tutorials with subtitles. When I don't get words, I write them down in a list. Excellent. Fantastic. Anderson Duarte says, hi, man. How are ya? I'm good, yeah. Well, usually it's unrequited love. Unrequited love is when the other person doesn't feel the same way about you or doesn't return it back to you, right? You feel, I love this person so much, and they don't feel the same way. Unrequited love. How sad. How can I learn English to speak fluently? That is too big of a question to answer. I have whole courses on that. If you're really serious about that question, you should take one of my courses. They are not that expensive. They're in the links in the description. I cannot answer that course or that question reasonably in even an hour. It takes, in fact, 2 hours and 58 minutes to answer that question. Okay, I'm just going up through the questions here. Israel says, Luke, do you have any videos on word stress? I always feel like I'm incorrectly stressing words. Yes, I do. I'm working on a new course mostly about word stress, but I also do have videos about word stress. If you go into the archive, there is a pronunciation. Actually, if you go to the main page, there is a playlist about pronunciation, and one of them is about word stress. So yes, there is a video about word stress in there. Luke, could you please paste that WhatsApp link here? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to paste in the WhatsApp link. It is in the description, but I'm going to paste it in. Hey guys, we're at 51. We can do the watch party now. This is awesome. Fantastic. Yes, I'm excited. Let me know what movie you guys want to watch. We can maybe vote on it. I have a certain interest list. I hope we can watch something that doesn't suck. that would be cool. It'd be awesome to watch a movie. Everybody watches it, then we talk about it. That would be so cool. And then people can ask questions. What's this mean? What's that mean? And I can answer those questions. All right, so there's the WhatsApp link again. Okay, which one is it, Dominican boy? Now I'm very curious. Is it get alone or is it get along? Which one was it in that context that you saw it in? Okay. All right. Hey, Gertie's here. Welcome. Guys, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button because that lets other people know, there's a live class happening. So that helps. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And make sure you join. Now you really need to join the WhatsApp group because now, thank you. I'm sneezing because of allergies. Sometimes I get sort of allergies and a snuffliness in my nose. And I'm pretty sure it's not coronavirus. I think I'm good. I don't have a fever. I think I'm fine. If I get it, well, maybe this will be our last live stream. Enjoy it. Okay. So yeah, now that we have 50 members in our WhatsApp group, now we can do the watch party. And that will be fun. So you really have to join now. You really have to join now. Okay, so I wanted to show you a video that I saw today. I just wanted to share it with you. Maybe we can discuss it a little bit. What do you think? So this video is pretty short. It's a couple minutes long. It is a city council meeting. The mayor is there. It's a small town in Florida. The mayor is there. Then there are some other city council members. The city council are the people who are deciding things in the city. And they seem to be trying to close the meeting and end the meeting without doing anything. And it seems to be after they have shut off the electricity of some homes in the area because they didn't pay their bills on time. Now, why wouldn't they pay their bills on time? Well, because of the whole situation that's going on in America, many people can't work because the company shut down. For example, the airline workers, or someone who works in a restaurant, a bartender. All of these types of people are home, not making money. They have to pay their rent. They have to buy food. They have to pay their bills, their electricity bills. And so there is, I think, a reasonable case to be made that the local government should pause shutting off people's electricity if they don't pay their bill on time. I think that's reasonable. However, you'll see in this video the opposite happening. And I think it's very interesting, and I'd like to show it to you guys. This video was recently posted. It now has 4 million views on YouTube. I'm putting my headphones on so that I can watch too. Check this out. Lolly, you should get WhatsApp. It's great. I wouldn't say it's great. It's good. Not as good as WeChat. In my opinion. All right, you ready? We're going to watch it. It's a couple minutes long, and then I want to get your opinions on it. Let's talk about it. All right? Here we go.
Can we do better? There's always things that pop up that we can do better on, and I call the question.
I'm sorry. That's not how this works. We each have an opportunity to speak 5 minutes.
I thought we did.
Yeah, the question's been called.
I'm sorry.
We've been
And that's not how calling the question works. You need a second, and you need to vote on it.
Then I have a second for calling the question.
So are you telling me that you're going to keep me from talking right now?
You've talked all evening.
Look here. You're calling me disrespectful because I've interrupted people, but this gentleman has turned off people's lights in the middle of a global health pandemic. That's what that gentleman did.
Point of order.
And you think I'm disrespectful for interrupting?
Point of order.
This gentleman has had the ability to do any number of things. We could have banned large gatherings. We could have closed the beach. We could have put a moratorium on utility shutoffs.
I recessed.
Also not within your power, and the attorney has held that that's true.
I recessed the meeting.
You came up with new rules at the beginning of the meeting, and then you didn't even want to follow the rules that you came up with.
And you took advantage.
This is a banana republic is what you're turning this place into with your so-called leadership.
Does a recess mean that we will be...
Yes.
Camera on that?
I don't care anything about this.
Camera on that?
I don't care anything about this.
Does
We should have been talking about this last week.
Can we...
We cut off people's utilities this week and made them pay what could have been their last check to us to turn their lights on in a global health pandemic. But you don't care about that and you didn't want to meet. But every other year you go around and beg people for their votes.
Hey.
Can we explain
But
the
you care
recess?
more about your relationship with that guy than you care about the relationship with the people who don't go to work in this building.
Order! You were done. You're done. You're done. Disrespect.
It's disrespectful is what you've done to the working people in this city.
I didn't do anything.
You failed to act.
I didn't do anything.
When you're a leader, you failed to act. You said you didn't do anything. You failed to act when you had an opportunity.
Party for State House.
I don't care anything about that. You think anybody cares?
Does a recess mean that we can reconvene tonight, or? Okay.
Okay, so that's it. All right, now I don't know what you guys think about that. I hope you all understood most of it. First of all, I can try to explain anything that's unclear about what happened there, but that's pretty crazy, right? I'm very curious what you think about that. But basically, this guy is upset, understandably, that he's being ignored by the rest of the council, by the mayor, and he's trying to ask questions about why they're shutting people's lights off at a time when there is this pandemic happening, when there is this economic frustration going on and people are losing their jobs and many people don't have enough money to buy food and they don't have enough money to pay their rent. Why are we shutting their lights off? And the rest of the council seems to be ignoring him, trying to get him to stop, trying to get him to shut up and calling him rude. You're rude. But he's just trying to express how unfair it is that this is what's going on. Now in Florida, there's another video that maybe I can show you next time where people are out on the beach partying and doing whatever they want to do regardless of the situation. And that's obviously extremely reckless because in Florida it hasn't been handled that well. Obviously, that's one of the things that can cause it to spread around, right? In New York, where I live, there even a couple days ago were people in the parks walking around talking to each other like nothing happened, which I think is absolutely crazy. So I think this video perfectly captures the feeling that I have about this crisis. I'm here at home, and I'm not home for myself. I'm home for everybody. Because I know that if let's say, for example, I have it, even if I don't get very sick and I don't die, for example, I could go for a walk if I were just walking around and touch stuff, and then 10 minutes later, someone who's much older than me might touch the same thing, because they don't know, and touch their face, and then they get sick and they die because I was outside. This is the stuff that causes it to spread. So I think a lot of young people don't realize how, yes, you will probably not get super sick. Maybe you'll get a little sick, but by being out in public, you're the one spreading it around, and you're the one causing it to last longer. In some places like South Korea and China, Singapore, where it's handled really well, where it's locked down really well, and there's testing everywhere and temperature taking everywhere, the issue is not as bad. The situation is not as bad. It works, right? Why? Because when you keep everybody in, it's sort of like flushing it all out, right? And then once you figure out, okay, who has it, who doesn't have it, keep the ones who have it in quarantine until they get better or whatever happens. Keep the ones who don't have it home just to make sure. And then once it's done, and people can start going back to work, like, for example, in China. But if you have many people who just say, I don't know, whatever, it's good, just try to get back to what we were doing before, my actions can't impact anything, can't change anything. So what do I need to do? Actually, that's wrong. That's the thing that's keeping it circulating more. That's the thing that's causing it to be spread more. And that's the thing that's going to make it last in your city or in your country longer. So it drives me crazy anyway. But it's important to, I think, for people who live in places where you're asked to stay home, if you can, stay home. Especially, for example, someone like me, I live in New York. It's very densely populated. Stay home. It's the only thing you can do to help. Actually, that's the thing you can do to help. And the more people do that, the more quickly we can sort of get over the situation. And this sort of thing, governments have to give people a break. You know, a lot of people aren't working. Got to give people a break. If they don't pay their electricity bill on time, give them a break. If there was ever a time to get a break, it's now. Okay. So anyway, that's my view on it. And I think this video is a sort of perfect example of who's right and who's wrong. Okay. Anyway, I would be very curious to know what you guys think about it. Hold on a sec. I've got a message. Just a second. We might do an interview in a bit, maybe not. We'll see. Imagine today Instagram censored a post for me claiming using fact checkers. We detect that this post is false information. That happened today? Oh, interesting. Crazy. Dinesh really wants Lolly Lolly to join WhatsApp. You might... Dinesh, take it easy. Relax. If she doesn't want to use it, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. It's fine. All right. Did I miss any questions that someone asked while I was talking through that? I'm going to take off my headphones. Actually, hold on a second, guys. We might have something here. I think I have a special treat for you. Hey, my other cat's here. Hey, Circle. Circle. Come here. My other cat's here. I wish I could turn the camera around more easily and show you guys the sort of the studio a little bit. Maybe I'll do another live stream where I'm at home. Okay, so we're going to do a call. I'm going to do a call with Luba. I'm going to interview her because she is a very serious English learner. And I want to do a call with her and just ask her a few questions about her own learning experience. So I wasn't sure if she was going to be available. She's available, so that's good. Okay. All right, let me invite her, and then we will get started. Okay, I can do a link. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. I know I should have set this up before, but with the Skype stuff, I'm just figuring it out as I go. Lazy Kid says, is this correct? I'll meet you in under a half an hour. Yeah, that's fine. I'll meet you in under half an hour. Yep, that's correct. Should be an hour instead of a hour. That's right. How can we know our English improves? That's actually a really good question, Angel, because it's some of the things about English can be sort of subjective, right? If you want to... Oop, let me put this in the right place here. So if you want to figure out what your English level is, you have to first know what you're trying to measure. Are you trying to measure your spoken ability only? Are you trying to measure listening? Are you trying to measure writing? Now, there are a couple of different ways to look at this. You could look at it in a very strict exam-like way. If that's what you want a number, and you want to get the most accurate number, probably the best thing to do is to take the IELTS test, okay? Because IELTS has the writing component, the listening component, the reading component, and the speaking component, and you get scores for those. Those are scored by well-trained examiners. They're people. The exam is conversational, so it's not sort of pressuring you in a sort of computer interview situation, which causes a lot of people to go down in performance. So I think it's a very balanced exam. I think it's pretty fair. I think it's a good way to measure. If you want to know how good you are, before you start studying seriously, you take an IELTS, You study for a year later you take another one. How different are you? That's a pretty good measurement. Now, there is a way to do a bit of a self-measurement. That means that you feel you're getting better, but that's tough because it's so subjective. There's a sense people have of always being hard on themselves. I'm not good enough. I'm not skilled enough. My level's too low, right? So that's hard for some people and good for some people. Some people can accurately sort of feel how much they're improving. That's often about confidence. That's often about a general sense that you have about where you were before and where you are now. That's a little bit tough to measure. So if you want the feeling of getting better, really what you should be focusing on is constant practice so that your confidence grows. As your confidence grows, you're going to at least feel better about your English, even if it's not technically better in many ways. And sometimes the confidence will allow your technical English to be better because confidence is part of the equation when it comes to speaking English well and even writing English well. It is. It's one of the factors. Maybe your actual level is here, but with confidence, you sound here. Or maybe your actual level is here, but you're not confident, and so it goes down lower than it should be. Okay, so confidence is part of it. Again, that's very hard to measure. My suggestion is if you really want to know, take the IELTS test. If you ask a teacher, that's fine. If you ask a native English speaker, what's my level, that's fine. But if you ask different ones who are not trained to evaluate, it's going to be tough for you to get an objective answer that's not subjective. You're going to get two different answers because they're not trained and they're not looking at specific guidelines. So hopefully that answers your question. They're just different kinds of measurement, basically. Guys, please don't forget to hit the like button. I would appreciate it. All right, I think we're going to do this now. I'm going to add Luba here on Skype. Okay. Someone keeps hitting the thumbs up and then the thumbs down. Who is doing it? All right, you guys ready? We're on Skype here. Make up your mind, guys. Make up your mind. Luke, do you use the phrase, I kid you not? Is this the same as I mean it? I kid you not is something I use, yes. And it means I mean it. Yes, I use it. Same meaning. Same meaning. Guys ready? Guys ready? We're going to do it. Someone keeps doing thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, some thumbs down. Crazy. All right, here we go. Okay.
Hello.
Oh, hey. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you. I'm glad you're available. I didn't know if you would be available or not. I know I messaged you on short notice.
Sorry, I had lessons in a speaking club.
So, what is the speaking club? How do they do the lessons? I'm curious.
They use Zoom platform.
Is it like a group class and everybody just talks randomly, or do they have a topic? How do they manage the topic and the discussion? Luba, can you hear me?
Yes. One moment. I will turn off YouTube.
Oh, okay. So my question was, how in the group classes that you do, how do they organize the discussions, and what do you find useful about the group discussion format?
We usually have topics and for every lesson, and we have about maybe 15 peoples in the group, and they divide us into groups, and they put us into the breakout room, rooms, and we have only one or two speaking partners there. They sent us questions about this topic and a vocabulary list, and we discuss this topic with our speaking partners, and then they give us about 10 minutes, and then we get back to the main room, and then they give us the next part of questions. They call it speaking workouts, but before we had classic clubs, and it was the same, but all people was in the same room, and we had about 8 participants.
Which do you like better? Do you like the smaller group discussions, or do you like discussing with the bigger group?
I like workouts when you have only one or two speaking partners, because it gives you more opportunity to practice speaking.
Okay. Are there teachers actually giving you feedback during that time, or are you just practicing?
They usually write all corrections in the chat.
Okay, that's nice.
They don't correct us, but sometimes they do. But they usually don't want to break our conversation.
Right. Well, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because I know you're a very serious English learner. I think more serious than a lot of people, and I think people can benefit from some of the things that you think are useful and some of the things that you think are not. So my question is, what things have you found, either apps or techniques have you found that really work for you, and what things are maybe a waste of time that maybe people spend time on but they shouldn't, based on your experience?
Yes, okay. I think that if you want to practice spoken English, you should participate in speaking clubs, because I could not speak English at all before I joined speaking club. And if you want to practice writing, I think it is the better to make English-speaking friends and to communicate with them as much as you can. For example, I have a Chinese friend who corrected my letters, and it helped me a lot, because before I started to communicate with my friends, I could not write even one sentence without a translator.
Right. Okay.
So,
well, that's great progress then. What about, okay, so that's the useful thing is practicing, getting in getting into it without fear, right? Building confidence. What about things that have you tried certain things that you feel now were a waste of time? In other words, things that people use or try regularly to improve English that didn't help, that you thought, don't do that.
Yeah, I think that when you already know, like, base of grammar, you should not learn it hard. You should have more practice, because I think it is a waste of time to learn grammar without practice.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, totally right.
Yes.
I agree. I mean, some people, I think, feel really comfortable. Say, I can sit here and learn grammar, but that's not really pushing yourself to improve. You're not really doing the hard work, which is fear of communicating with others. The speaking clubs is something that can be scary to a lot of people, to a lot of learners.
Yes, I was very afraid to do it at the first time, and I forced myself to join this speaking club, and I am so grateful to this speaking club, because I lost my fear to speak with people in English.
How do you get over that? Because that's the hard part for so many people, is that that very beginning, that wall. How do people get over the wall for the first time? The people who are afraid to speak, how do you break through it for the first time? Once you do, it gets a lot easier. But do you need a couple glasses of red wine? How do you do it?
No. You just need to get out of your comfort zone, and you just need to force yourself to do it. But in some time you will enjoy it, and because it will be like your hobby. And I could not imagine now how I would live without communicating with people in English every day.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I think that very useful to listen to something in English every day and as much as you can. For example, I use every single moment for listening. For example, when I do my housework, I always listen to something in English.
That's
and when I am on my way to work and home, I also listen to something.
What about when you so a lot of the time when you're listening to something, there will be things that you might not understand, maybe cultural references. Do you just say, well, it's okay if I don't understand everything? Do you research things afterward, or do you just want to have that in the background to sort of absorb over time for listening?
I started from simple audios. For example, I listened to fairy tales at first,
Oh.
but then, yeah,
That's cool.
but then I started to listen to your courses, and it was so good for listening too. And you just need to choose something that you understand, maybe 90%.
Right. If it's 100%, it's too easy, right? Then you're not
Yeah.
challenging yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, really, the last question I wanted to ask you is, in terms of resources, whether that's apps or other resources, what are your favorites? Which ones do you use? Which ones do you like to use most?
I like app which is called Elsa Speak.
Elsa
And
Speak,
I
yeah.
think it
Is
is
that
Elsa Speak. Yeah.
ELSA Speak, right?
Maybe, but they call it Elsa.
Okay.
Elsa.
Okay.
And this app is so good for improving pronunciation because it shows every single sound which you pronounce, and it shows you your progress. So I think it is very useful.
One thing that I saw
And
that you said in the chat is you should only use it on advanced level. Why is that?
yes, because when you use common level, it says that you say everything perfectly.
Yeah.
But when you use advanced level,
Yeah.
it shows your problems
Yeah.
with each sound. And I was really surprised that this app can analyze your pronunciation
Yeah.
and shows you all your problems. And they made offer because of coronavirus, and now they give students opportunity to use it for free. Even
cool.
VIP
VIP?
VIPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for free.
That's good for people to know. So I guess they can just Google Elsa Speak and access it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. There was one question in the chat just as we were talking, similar to what you said before. This is really the last question. Rolfie says, can you ask her how she manages stress and nervousness while speaking? So not just jumping over the confidence part, but while you're speaking, some people feel they get so nervous they have to stop speaking. How do you manage that? Because just in this conversation that we're having, you sound very clear about what you want to say. You sound quite confident, and you don't seem like any nervousness is getting in your way. But that's hard to do for a lot of learners.
It was very hard for me too, because I am a shy person, and I had problems with self-esteem and self-worth, so it was even harder for me.
Yeah.
But I understood that it is time to start to stop make excuses, because I said before that I don't have opportunities to speak out loud because someone can hear me. I think that at first you can't speak confidently, but it comes with time.
Yeah.
You need just practice as much as you can. at first you will stop, and you should not be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because all people make mistakes, and it is how they learn.
It's an interesting balance of, number one, being aware of mistakes, but at the same time not being afraid to make them. In other words, you have to be able to notice when mistakes happen, but you shouldn't be so afraid to speak that you're not willing to make one, right? It's good to make mistakes, but when they happen, it's good to also be able to say, oh, did I say that? Oh, oops, and make self-corrections, right?
And I can say that no one will laugh at you. No one. I didn't meet even one person who would make fun on you.
Yeah.
Because of your mistakes. So you should not be afraid of it. And
Yeah.
it is problem of Russians learners because they are too shy to practice
It's
speaking.
not, well, I can say for sure, because I've taught a lot of students from a lot of different places. It's not just Russia. It's everywhere. Everybody has, and it's reasonable. You don't want to look silly, but it's a fact. Nobody's going home and thinking, oh, that silly person I heard make a mistake today. People, when they're talking to others, they're thinking about themselves. How do I look? Do I look silly? They're not worried about other people's mistakes. I promise. Nobody cares.
But I can say that I will not watch this video because I don't like.
I think you're
like
doing a great
them.
job. You're doing such a great job. I mean, it's a very natural conversation we're having, and it's been very nice talking with you. Before we end this this interview, first, thank you for doing it, because I think
Thank you so much for giving me such opportunity to talk with you and with all people who hear us.
Well, thank you for joining, because I think having your perspective as an English learner is in many ways better than mine, because you have gone through this yourself, right? You've been through this process. And so it's a very valuable perspective for people to have. So I really appreciate you that you're willing to do this, and that you have the confidence to do it. You're showing others that it's certainly possible. You said you used to not be able to speak without a translator, and now you're able to have fluent conversation and a very natural and organic conversation, which is absolutely great. So you've made amazing progress. Is there anything else that you want to share or mention that other students should know before
Yes. I want to tell everyone, use Luke's courses because they are great. I love them so much, and I have 10 of them, and they are really amazing, and they helped me a lot. So guys, please buy Luke's courses.
Well, thank you for saying
They will help you a lot.
I would just like to
Yeah.
say that I did not ask Luba to say that just now, and that's a
No. I do it by myself.
You're making
of
me
course.
turn red. I'm turning as red as a tomato.
No, it is true. It is truth.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That really means a lot to me. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be
Thank
able.
you, Luke.
Well, I hope we can
Thank
do
you.
another one of these
I
discussions in the future. It'd be cool.
I appreciate your help so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Goodbye.
have a good one.
Bye.
Really, thank you so much. See ya.
Yes, thank you. See you.
Cool. All right. That was awesome. That was so cool. She has, I think, she serves as a great example of what it means, especially in terms of attitude, right? So, and I've talked with her about this before we did this discussion, but she is able to take English learning as a lifestyle. What a lot of people do is that they'll say, all right, I got 30 minutes, I got to learn for 30 minutes, and get it over with. But that's actually okay, but not the ideal situation. If you can, it's obviously much better to make it part of your lifestyle, which is obviously what Luba has done. She has made it part of her lifestyle. She has a long commute. When she commutes, she's always listening to stuff. She's always learning stuff. She is now not afraid to speak to anybody and say what she thinks and express herself. You could see that clearly. But she used to be, right? She broke through that sort of confidence barrier. and is sort of proof that, yes, you can do it. Anybody can do it. She said, you heard her, she was a shy person. She is sometimes a shy person, but just forced herself to start. And once you get started, it builds into a kind of what's called a snowball effect, right? The little snowball starts rolling down the hill, but once the snowball starts rolling down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger, and it rolls more and more easily. So once you break through that initial, I don't know what to say, what do I say, I have nothing to say, I'm scared. Once you break through that feeling, then it gets easier and easier. And as you practice, you build actual habit patterns in your brain. Your brain is physically changing to get used to the feeling of expressing yourself. And once you get used to that, then the nervousness goes away. As all of this happens, as you get more comfortable in the language, as you start to sort of feel confident over time, then all of that stuff that you studied begins to come to you more easily. It's almost like shyness, nervousness, a lack of confidence are barriers that keep the things that you've learned all your life, the English stuff you've learned, away, right? Because you're so nervous, you can't receive the bank of words that's there. Right? But if you feel relaxed, if you feel comfortable, all of the words that you need are going to come to you quite easily. And so it's really just a matter of breaking through that barrier. It's a matter of getting through to a place of comfort. And it takes work, it takes practice, but it's possible for everybody. So don't say that you're too shy. Don't say that you can't. Don't say that you don't have confidence. Don't say that you're nervous. It's all excuses. You've decided that. You're the one who said that you're too shy. You're not. Well, you don't have to be. You can decide to try. You can decide to do your best, and you will see the rewards. As I mentioned, confidence is a part of especially spoken fluency. So that was fun. That was fun. That was cool. Yeah, she's doing really well. And by the way, added to that, I mean, it's a live call, others watching, right? That's another level of potential nervousness that people might have, right? So, it's impressive, very impressive. I don't think I could do that in Chinese. I got to practice more. Okay, did I miss any questions, guys? I'm going to scroll up and see if I did. Lolly says, what do you think about the new medicine allowed by Mr. Trump against the virus? I don't know about that. I think he seems to think that it's going to be a good idea, but I have no idea, right? I have no idea. It's going to be a matter of trying it out, probably doing some trials and testing it to see the effects. But with anything medical, it takes so long, right? You can develop a vaccine pretty quickly, but you don't know that it's safe. And it takes months and months and months to make something safe, to make sure it's safe. To start with basic chemical trials, then you do trials with animals, then you do trials with a limited group of humans. This is all a very long process. And anything you try is going to have to be slow, because you don't want to say, hey, everyone, we have the magic medicine. Everybody take it. We'll be fine. And then that has major, terrible consequences. So you got to be careful when it comes to new medicines. Got to be careful. Jeet says, how can we join the speaking club? That's a good question. Maybe, how about this? Why don't you join the WhatsApp group, and then you can ask Luba in the group, and maybe she can share that with you. I don't know. Azad says, she was so calm and composed. Great job. I agree 100%. Interesting interview. I agree 100%. Luba, you're great. Thank you. I agree 100%. I think she articulated, I think how she articulated words helped her a lot. Yes. She expresses herself very well, very clearly. And she said she hadn't spoken English before. She used to need a translator. That's a pretty big difference. It's pretty amazing. Kind of the same story with my wife. She used to not be able to speak English at all, and now she speaks English quite well. So it's a process. It's a process. Okay, well, I mean, I'm here to sort of answer questions if you have them, but if you guys don't have many questions, I do want to in the future share videos. Let me know if you guys want to watch more videos in the future. I would like if everyone can kind of share their opinions about the videos. I just find ones that are interesting to me that we can talk about. I think the one that I showed was very interesting, personally. And I think now that we have 50 members in the group, we can do the movie thing where we watch a movie together. So I hope you guys can join the group so that we can do that and discuss the movie in the group. That would be super fun and super interesting. So let me know what movies you guys want to watch in the group. Join the group and let me know which movies you want to watch. And which film do we go to watch first? Yeah, we can all decide. I mean, I think someone can propose one, and we can. Let's do one that's not boring. Let's do one that actually has some stuff to discuss. I'd like to watch a movie that we can discuss. Something that's not just, a very empty sort of big budget action movie. Let's avoid that. But something that's interesting. My favorite movie, I think you guys probably won't like, so I won't choose that one. But I want it to be something we can vote on. Everybody needs to join the group. We have a lot of people joining. That's good. All right, guys. Well, I guess we can take a pause for today. We might do another one of these either tomorrow or maybe on Thursday. I'm going to be doing a few more of them these days, just because it's fun. I like it. Don't forget, guys, to hit like, to subscribe, to check out the courses in the links in the description, and I'll see you in the group, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining. Take care, guys. Bye.